Newsom buying that $5 million house, right? And it's like,
in El Dorado. Or
yeah, El Dorado. And it's like, oh, how can you buy a $5 million house? Like, well, why not?
Hello, we're gonna argue, Nick.
but isn't that the same thing as like, other millionaires? Like, he's a millionaire, right? I mean,
no, not the same thing. Sorry, I gotta let you finish. I'm getting hyped.
But that's
coffee's kicking in. Haterade, I got my haterade.
What the hell is up, everyone? Welcome to the Water Tower Podcast, episode number 16. Here we are, Jay Yoder and I. Hey, Jay.
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16.
Oh
yes,
my.
sirree, Bob. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow us on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Mostly Instagram. That's a good one for us. And tell your friends, tell your buddies. And like we said last show, if you don't have friends, fucking get some.
Yeah, meetups. Go make some fake ass friends. Go to your mini mart. Hang out outside. Jay and Silent Bob. Do it and rock out. Just do what you got to do.
But don't forget to subscribe. And got a good show. We're talking about some cool shit going on. And much of 2020, there's fucking all kinds of shit going on in the world, Jay.
It's hard to find some good shit, some fun, happy shit. But whatever.
Hey, well, that's just kind of how it's going, I guess. But there's always a silver lining in everything.
There always is. But, anyways, how you doing, Nick? How's the day going?
It's fucking going great, man. We got some great fucking weather here in Sac. I don't know if you've been outdoors lately, but it's been nice, man.
It's been good, but, man, the allergies.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Been running. We've been running all week, 3 miles, we got up to 9 miles. Going to do 12 after tonight.
Nice.
Me and Gina have been racing. She's been...
Good
Not kicking my ass, but getting close. But I'm just ahead of her a little bit.
Nice.
I gave her a head start yesterday, and I was like, or last night, and I was like, I'm going to stretch out because she don't stretch much, but I'm like a fucking beat up old man. I'm like 60. But so I'm like, I got to stretch before I do anything. So go ahead. And I was like, I'll catch her. And then I fucking caught her we did 3 miles. I caught her about 2.5, just barely got her.
Okay, so you just going incrementally up every time?
No, we just said, I used to run 3-4 miles on a regular basis about a year ago. Sometimes 4.5, and then do a bunch of workouts after that. But so we're just running right now. I'm going to add in kettlebells. But we were doing like 1.6 miles, 1.8 miles, and like bitching about it. And she would walk half of it. And then one day I was like, fuck this. I'm running 3. And I thought it was actually 2. So I was like, fuck, I'm running 2 today. And then we started running it. And she's like, fuck, this is kicking my ass. I'm like, we walk a little bit at the midpoint, like, I don't know, like 2 minutes. And I was like, go, just get your breath and go. And then I was like, you know what? Let me look this up. And I was like, oh shit, it's 3 miles. So then we're just like, fuck it, we can't do less than 3 now.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Right. So kettlebells, I've heard good things and bad things about that. You have good experience with those things?
Yeah, kettlebells, like, you could easily injure yourself if you don't follow proper technique.
Or throw it through a window?
Yeah, no, it's pretty heavy. It'll fall through the floor maybe. But I don't know. It depends which one you got. I got a little BB maybe. But I got one of those Onnit kettlebells, the ape. It's got like an ape face.
Like Joe Rogan's?
Yeah, it's his company. So I got it from him. And then, it's great for like functional strength, like explosive strength, using your whole body and movements. It's fucking awesome for athletics. Like, a couple years ago, I just did that, and I was like, man, this shit's kicking my ass. I'm not really improving. And then I went to jiu-jitsu, which I didn't train for a long time, and I was like, oh, shit, thank God I did kettlebells because I was feeling good, like moving and stuff, which usually I get my ass kicked when I go back. So strongly suggest kettlebells.
Okay, so like agility type shit?
Yeah, you just move your whole body, and it's like they do all kinds of different workouts. You could do just squats with it. You could do military presses, but you could do like Turkish get-ups. So you start on your flat back and you have it here and you bring it up, and that's how you could injure yourself because there's a lot of movements. And it's like great for exploding off the ground, and very functional exercises where you use the whole body.
You know what? I've thought about getting them because I've had dumbbells and I've used those, and right now I have some small dumbbells, and man, you know what? I just my wife tries to get me to go walking. Usually every night she wants to go for a walk, and she doesn't go for a very long walks, maybe around the block, maybe around a couple blocks. But I never want to go because I just like, I'm either in or I'm not. That's how I am. It's like, no, if I'm going to go out there, I want to go run. I want to sweat. Like, if I'm going to go out there, I want to make it worth it,
She doesn't go crazy?
And she doesn't go crazy, yeah. She doesn't want to run or ride bikes usually. And so that's how I am. Like, if I'm going to go out, I'm either going to go on like a 6-mile bike ride or at least a couple-mile run or something. Like, I'm going to get sweaty.
Yeah, that's a hard part. I've dated girls in the past that are like that, and it makes me lazier because I'll just walk with you, fuck it. And, but with Gina, she's an athlete, so yeah, it's fucking sick to like. I have to beat her,
right?
So yesterday was a test. It was a test, and I barely got her,
dude.
so she gets no more head starts.
Is she a swimmer too?
Fuck, I don't know.
It'd be cool to go out to that spot and then go for a swim.
Oh yeah, I don't know if she swims much because I don't know. San Francisco, the water's so cold, but
right.
I don't know. But she's fucking jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, running, and shit like that. She usually hates running, but she's been. I hate running too. I think everybody hates running. It feels so good afterwards, but I have to force myself to run too. But it's just something I've always done,
right,
on and off. So
yeah, and at the end of mine, I think I mean, probably nothing similar to what you do, but I have these 2 small dumbbells. They're 10-pounders, and it's really all I have right now. I haven't really sought anything more. But I do like 200 jump ropes, and then I'll do like a few sets of those, you know. Yeah. And it's I mean, I'm not gonna get strong or buff or anything by it, but I figure, fuck, it's better than nothing.
When we first moved here in January in Sac, I haven't jump roped in a while, so we got one and went out to the garage, concrete floors, and my shoes were killing me. I think I told you about $120 running shoes. They do the stupid X-ray. It's all bullshit. They got the worst shoes I ever got in my life. 120. Usually I get
they
like
talk you right into it too.
Fuckers. So I was like, ooh, X-ray. And then I started working out and my knees were killing me. But finally I got used to them. But anyways, I said, fuck, I'm going to jump rope barefoot. And I did, I was like, I started off 500 jump rope and then 1,000.
Fucking Neanderthal, dude.
Yeah,
Damn.
I just like get psycho about it. And that's why I'm not consistent because then I give up because it's, it's good to go up. I just try to jump up real quick. But fucking jump rope's great, dude.
Yeah, dude, I love it, man. It gets your heart rate flowing quick and you can do a lot of them. You know, it's not like push-ups. Like push-ups, I probably do, 10 sets of 10 or something like that, or 5 sets of 20, or, but jump rope, fuck, I could sit there forever and do a bunch. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like you sweaty.
It's like pull-ups. I do 8 and I'm happy.
Suck at fucking pull-ups.
I don't want to do one right now.
You know what? Over the weekend, we went to Monterey. We went and visited my wife's uncle, and he's a climber, and he climbs, mountain rocks and all kinds of crazy shit, right? And he's also a contractor. He builds stuff for a living. That's what he does for a living. He built this fucking massive fucking rock climbing wall in his backyard, and it's like legit, dude. It's like he built it right. It's probably like 15 to 20 foot long and about 15 feet high. And he's got 3 different sections, like a standard, like straight up and down rock. And then he's got one that kind of leans back, so you had to climb backwards type of thing. And then he's got one where it's like starts inside of a groove, like almost like a cave, and you have to lay down to start, and then you climb your way out of it.
Like bouldering and
like exactly, yeah. Like right.
Yeah. Have you done that before?
Fucking legit. I've done the walls, but I've never rock climbed. Well, not like
actual
that.
rock? No, yeah. I've done the walls too, but fuck that. That's something I'm just not good at. That's like all arms, and my body just doesn't. I feel like you see those little slender guys, and I used to. My friend Allie, she was heavy into it in San Francisco, and her boyfriend was like number 7 or some shit like that, 8, and that was his job. Shit. He would just like fucking chill, and people hit him up, charge him a lot of money, and teach him how to
train
climb.
him. Okay.
Yeah, because he was like really high up there. I think they're living in a van somewhere now. I lost touch of her. But, yeah, dude, I went with her a couple times. I went with other couple friends in Oakland, and fuck, that thing hurts. Dude,
he also had these, I think it's called pegboards. Is that what it's called? Yeah, where you pull these things out and you have to climb like that. Dude, I couldn't even get like one. Like, my upper body's so fucking weak.
I never tried that. I don't know.
That shit's fucking tough.
It looks tough.
I mean, the rock climbing thing is like you can use your legs, right? And he has like I forget what they call it. It's like a rule of thirds where you have to have at least 3 of your body parts on something. Yeah. And before you can lift that one. Yeah. And so it's easy that way, right? But with the pegs, it's like, hell no, your feet are dangling. Like, that's arm strength. Like, a core.
And it's like, it's like a, what was it? Forgetting what it's called. Where you do those like circuits. What was it called? CrossFit.
Okay, right.
And CrossFit kind of got a douchey like, hey, I know someone's in CrossFit because they tell you about it every second. It's kind of like one of those things. It's like rock climbing kind of got that vibe in San Francisco. Hey, I'm rock climbing today, and like everyone would do it. It's like, all right. But I went and like, man, they're intense, and like I was cracking jokes and they're teaching it. I took like a training where they teach you how to like do the rope. I don't fucking remember, but I was just like cracking jokes, and they were not about it.
They'll kick your ass out, Jay.
Easy.
Hey, you know what though? Those fucking, I mean, just like any trade, you got to have the proper tools. And this fucker had, I mean, he busted out all his tools. He was kind of showing me, you know, what he uses and stuff. And it's fucking intense, man. They have these little things, you know, you kind of squeeze them and they retract, and they're for crevices. So if you go inside a mountainside, fucking stick this thing in the crevice and you pull it and it locks into place. Fucking crazy. Your life depends on that one little tool.
What is that? There's that documentary, on Netflix. I can't remember the name, but it's about rock climbing, and it's about a lot of things, but mainly rock climbing. And it's about a guy who scaled the
El Capitan.
Yosemite. Right. Have you seen that?
I've seen it, yeah.
That documentary?
Dude, I was just talking to a guy. Coincidentally, I detailed a car yesterday. He's the climber. I opened his trunk, and he had a shitload of climbing gear back there, so I just got to BSing with him about it.
How do you know he's not a bank robber?
Well, this could be true, too.
From the 1929 bank robber. Woo!
What are those things
Grappling
called?
hook?
Grappling hook, yeah.
Or the gun, the Batman gun.
But, dude, he said that guy's from Sacramento. The guy that starred in that that deal, yeah, he's a famous climber from Sac.
Yeah, so you saw the doc. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called too, but it was
might just be El Capitan. I don't know, but like, and he took that guy with him who was a boulderer, I guess, and took him, and like they got stuck on that one piece,
right?
And he kind of surpassed that guy, but that guy just kept going and going.
Didn't that one guy only have like 4 fingers or something?
No,
like
the main guy.
Oh, the main guy. Okay,
How did he lose it? Oh, like just a saw or something. But he also had that interaction, I think, with the Taliban. At the beginning of the movie, that's why this movie.
It's been a long time. What, it was like 2015?
Like I watched it probably a year and a half ago, and someone told me about it in San Francisco. But fuck, it was a fucking amazing, dude. I love documentaries like that, and I know we're gonna talk about the Jordan one here soon. But like, he at the beginning of the movie starts off with him as a kid. They're climbing some mountain in Afghanistan, I want to say.
Oh shit!
Him and some girl and some friends are young or something, and they get captured by the Taliban, and like. They're like making them go through these mountains, trying to use them as ransom, and they like had to fucking pull a move. And I think he or the other person threw one of the guys with the guns off the cliff one night.
Oh shit!
And escaped.
Maybe I haven't seen that fucking documentary.
That's how it started.
That does not ring a bell at all.
And then the crazy thing is, they go on to his life, and he cuts his finger off. He like he's like fucked in his career. Then he starts like. Digging it in marbles like a Rocky montage, I don't know. The eye of the tiger, and he's like busting his finger to get it like rough. Okay. And it's like, cause you can't climb without it, but he did it, and he did El Capitan, the first person to do it. And it's fucking amazing. And the funny thing is he did it, and now there's all kinds of people are doing it. Isn't it funny? Like one person usually just has to fucking do it. And then everyone goes, it's possible.
So was that the one where they like, they camped up there, right? They had like tents up there and
cliff.
Yeah, they were up there for like 4 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, for a long time.
I remember I remember watching some live streams about it, back then, because I think I was at COS back then, and so it was a big deal, and that's fucking amazing, man. Inspirational, and I think maybe that's gonna be the theme for today, because it is, man. Seeing that shit is like, damn, that's amazing.
Yeah, I remember I think there's a scene where they had like walkie-talkies or phones where the press also got involved, and they start calling them. There's like a little camp down there. And at one point they're just like pissed because every day they're not making this gap, this hard gap they had to jump across, and they're failing. And I think they just like were sitting on their tents and just like threw their fucking walkie-talkies off.
Nice.
Fuck it.
Fuck
like, we're in the zone, bitch. Get out of our heads.
Yeah, this
like,
ain't for you, bitches.
Questions. But yeah, Jordan documentary. I forget what it's called.
The Last Dance.
The Last Dance.
Right.
Woo!
Oh yeah, it's I'm about halfway through, almost. What about you?
A little over half. I think I might be a couple more episodes till the end, I think. I got just over the Rodman portion, which I don't think you've gotten to yet.
The Rodman? Yeah, I think that was 3 or 4.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, it comes in and out. It's
hard.
Yeah,
probably. Right. And you know what? That was the interesting part I got out of it. Like, they start the documentary with the championship, and it's almost like they're jumping back and forth in time.
Which is awesome.
You think so? Because I got kind of lost for a little bit. It's like, okay, well, where are they at now? Where are they going with this? Type of thing.
Yeah, well, first of all, for all of you that's been living under a rock, this is late news. Like this, people have been talking about this on podcasts for a long time, but I just got to it. Hit up Nick, he's watching it. But it's the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Rodman, Kerr, all those guys, and they're just like talking about the fucking management, which is fucking insane.
Right. Yeah,
well, fuck that guy, huh?
Yeah, what Jerry Bug or something like that.
Claus or
something like that.
But fucking amazing documentary, and just. Man, a lot of shit I didn't know because that was my childhood. I was glued to I had Jordan on my wall. I was glued to the TV. run out, play basketball, run in.
But that's all we knew. That's all we knew was the image on TV. I mean,
how lucky is it to grow up in the 90s?
Oh, dude, badass.
We had to get. Do they even like sports and determination and sacrifice to win and become the best? Is that still a thing? You're in school. They still preach that?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And then I mean, we can go in a whole rabbit hole down that with how they target smart kids. I always found that interesting. How like at school you have to take these tests so they can figure out who's the smartest kids, and then you go into these special programs, and then these programs are filled with special kids, and it's like
you don't get to Epstein's Island being dumb, Nick.
Yeah, right, exactly. They're fucking they're brewing these kids up, man. It's interesting. But yeah, totally, man. Growing up in the 90s, I mean, technology was fucking transforming the world. We had Chicago Bulls just dominating. I wasn't a huge basketball fan at the time. But yeah, interesting times, man. And to see, this is the thing I got out of it so far, was to see the shit that the players went through. And, and you see Rodman and he's talking about like, I play the game for free, but they're paying me to deal with all the bullshit. That's what I'm getting paid for, because this game is easy, but the bullshit behind the scenes, that shit is fucked up.
Well, yeah, and Rodman, I didn't realize how great I knew he was a badass defender, but, I'm thinking Scottie Pippen, right. I've always liked Scottie Pippen, and then with his assist, and then thinking about Michael Jordan and Rodman, though, Michael Jordan said that he's the smartest player he's ever played with.
Interesting.
I guess he studied all that shit.
Well, I seen the part where Rodman's talking about,
spillage.
Fail. Well, at least it wasn't on the Roadcaster Pro.
Yeah. Where is a rag?
Timeout. Speaking of sports,
he was just a badass player. Fucking damn, I didn't know he was that good. I thought he was just a bad boy and got rebounds, but he was you see where he's writing and taking notes on each player, and he's like, oh, I go here, then I go there, then I go here, then the ball's gonna rotate that way. I'm like, fuck, he knows where the ball's gonna rotate when Jordan shoots or the opponent shoots.
Right. He said he'd be out there at 3 a.m. and having his friends just shoot from different places so he can find out the trajectory of the ball, where it's going from different angles of shooting and technique. And
well, it's fucking you got Jordan. Jordan has won. I love how his parents raised him. He's competitive with his brother. He told him he can't do something. He's like, fuck you. I got to prove it to you.
Right.
But he just, within 2 or 3 weeks being on the Bulls, they're like, okay.
Oh, they knew it.
Because they were like a rookie,
right,
fucking, and then within 3 weeks, they're like, you're the best. Not only on the team, but probably the NBA.
You know what? It was interesting also from the very beginning to see, because you kind of know what the NBA and what really any professional sport's all about as far as drugs. And I mean, these kids are coming from rough upbringings, and, even coaches are doing coke and shit like that. I mean, just a lot of drugs and all kinds of shit like that in sports in general. And then Michael Jordan walks into that, and he's like, oh, fuck, I want no part of this shit, which goes back to his upbringing, right? It's fuck, that's what his parents probably taught him, It's like, shit, don't deal with that bullshit.
When he wanted to be the best, so he didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he didn't fuck around. He was like, I got a goal.
Yeah,
fuck all that other bullshit. I ain't partying. I ain't the best yet. And that's what it takes to be a Michael Jordan. You want to be, I don't know what it takes, but I assume that's what it takes. So when he said that, I was like, well, that's why Rodman is not the Michael Jordan. Rodman's fucking badass.
Right.
But partying, that puts you down a notch,
And you know what? That was an interesting view into Rodman's life. They even interviewed Carmen Electra and how she was his girlfriend when they were in Vegas, and like,
damn, you did get far in a short period.
Yeah, well,
I hit you up yesterday, right?
Binge watched, last night and today, and dude, the fact this is what I love, man, is he keeps talking. This is Rodman. He keeps talking about like Pippen and Phil Jackson and Jordan. They knew who I was, and they even talk amongst each other too. Is like, okay, yeah, he's a ball player. He's smart. He knows what he's doing, but he needs his freedom at the same time, right? And they even said, like, you can't put a saddle on a Mustang,
Yeah.
And I saw that, man. In that little film, of course, but it seemed that way. Like, he's a bad motherfucker, but, he got to do his own thing, man.
Yeah, he took 48 hours to go to Las Vegas and party.
48 hours.
It was like in 50 or something, but it was like, yeah, I like the leadership thing about that, because Scottie Pippen was like the second best player in the NBA at the time, 122nd paid, because he signed that 7-year contract right at the bat for like 17, 18 million. The manager's being a cunt, like pretty most managers are. But so he fucking not getting the money he should. But guess what? Pippen could have gone to any team and been the little Michael Jordan for that team. That's how good he was.
Yeah, he was.
And he would have got all the recognition in that city, all that. Jordan was still probably been the best. But guess what? Him being next to Michael Jordan made him even better. Right. Made him like, he probably would have never reached that level, I believe, if he wasn't around Michael Jordan. And I think the same is probably said for Dennis Rodman.
I mean, that argument is very valid, I think. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, to be honest, it almost seemed, and again, I don't know much about this, and I was trying to do some reading about it, but didn't get very far. But
reading's hard.
Reading is very hard. It just seemed like it was his choice, kind of. Like, you know, it's like they're interviewing some people. They said they tried to talk him out of the deal, and he was kind of like, well, I just, you know, concerned, what if I get injured? And, you know, I just want to sign a contract and have some money to take care of my peeps, you know. And
had 2 people in the household in wheelchairs.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, you know, I'm not saying that it was entirely his fault, but it's like, man, had he been able to get himself out of that, maybe that could have been the case. But, you know, he signed on the dotted line, and that's kind of, the rest is history, I guess.
That's how it is. But I do believe the harder you work, the more you should make and the more you should get respected. And they could have redone that contract.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Yeah. And nowadays you see in the NFL holdouts like crazy, you know, they're not going to play if they don't get their money. And if they're not going to pay them their money, they go to a different team who's going to pay them their money.
And there's one thing you learn. If you're that fucking good, you make the call.
Right.
There's one thing I learned in my personal design career, to be honest, because, you know, I was the bottom of the bucket for a long time, you know, sucked. And that's just design. You're going to be a piece of shit for a while. That's anything, jiu-jitsu, anything in life. Mm-hmm. I'm sure your business, but it's like you get to a point where you're like, okay, now I set the number. You set the number low. Now I set the number high because I'm worth it. And you need me a lot more than I need you. And once you realize that, it's powerful.
It's powerful now, right? And you see a lot of that nowadays. But shit, from what I read back then, because, you know, I was interested. I said, why didn't Pippen get his cash? What the fuck, man? That's fucked up. And from what I read is they just didn't have the rules back then. The rules weren't embedded in paper saying, you know, the bargaining rights for players, bargaining rights for coaches. Like, it just wasn't there. It was basically, okay, we're going to offer you this, sign on the dotted line. Well, fucking that, you already signed your life away, basically. And so he just didn't get his fair shake. And it just happened to be at a transition point where, you know, marketing and sales for the NBA fucking skyrocketed. So next thing you know, everybody's making a shitload of money, and he had signed that contract. So he was stuck.
Yeah, it fucking sucks. But, you know, man, the leadership, Michael Jordan getting up in people's ass at practice, like, you had to be great to be next to Michael Jordan, which is great for millionaires to fucking get motivated by a guy. And Michael Jordan, man, just respect to him. Respecting the leadership with Phil Jackson. Oh, yeah. And the coach before, I forget his name.
Doug.
Because he gave Michael Jordan the ball.
Right.
Michael Jordan's a clutch guy. And then the Pistons, which Dennis Rodman's on the team, kept whooping him. And they were, you know, probably wouldn't survive today with the rules. Probably be fouled out.
Oh, hell yeah.
But back then, they could just fuck people up.
They're fucking people up.
Which I like. But
yeah, that was awesome. I like that too.
Probably why I don't watch basketball anymore or football. But, you know, it just, and then, man, then the fucking, you know, they go there and then fucking Phil Jackson's like, hey, we got to, with another guy, Tex or something, we got to like bring up the team because they're just shutting down Michael Jordan. And if we have one player on the team,
they know how to defend that.
Then we're fucked. So I mean, that just shows Phil Jackson. And Michael Jordan didn't like that at first, but showed how Michael Jordan listened to leaders as well, which is crazy because most kids nowadays probably cocky as fuck.
Yeah.
But Michael Jordan just amazes me in like how he, even in the press, even on the documentary, Phil Jackson, Dennis Rodman, all of them talk. You could tell they don't talk shit. You could tell they want to, but they keep it respectful.
Right. Well, and you know what and this is, I mean, you know, as well as I know, documentary is based on, and I think they said 150 hours of interviews they made on this documentary.
Oh, really?
So imagine what they cut out. Right. This is, and I've heard this when it came out, I heard this and I was kind of into it. I didn't watch it, but I read a few articles on it. But Scottie Pippen was pissed when the documentary came out because of the way they portrayed him as a, like, you know, crying about his migraine during that headache and then being like a little baby as far as his contract and all this stuff. And so he was pissed, as well as a couple of other players that they neglected to interview in that whole process that were part of the championship Bulls
team. Tony Kukoc, where was he?
The what?
I didn't see Tony Kukoc at all.
That might have been the person that I read about. Yeah. And there was a few people that were pissed because it turned out, and I just found this out actually, Jordan's company, Jump 23, it's a production company, was co-producers of that which is the Jordan 23 brand, right? So a lot of people are saying, well, was this just a marketing stunt, you know? Because also Jordan had a lot to do with the editing process, which is interesting, Jay, because Ken Burns, you know who that is? He
Sounds
is
familiar.
a major name in the documentary filmmaking. Actually, in Final Cut Pro, there's a way to crop your photos and videos, and it's called Ken Burns because he's just a bad motherfucker.
What documentaries has he done?
What has he done? Fuck, I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to think of anything off the top of my head. But he came out and said, like, this ain't a documentary. Like, this is the opposite direction we want to be going in documentary, because this was not journalistic at all. And he badmouthed it, man. And so I read that, and then I'm watching the thing at the same time because I kind of have my laptop open and I'm watching it. And it kind of seemed that, like you said, like, it just seemed like some people wanted to speak out, but they didn't. But maybe they did, and then it just fucking got edited out.
Man, they don't have DVDs anymore, but they used to release those bonus features.
Yeah, but right.
But Michael Jordan, being the man he is, he's a smart motherfucker. But I always heard Michael Jordan's an asshole, and his Hall of Fame speech, I don't know if you remember that. He kind of, grilled some people. But anyways, I thought he came off good, but maybe that's because he's got a lot of say in it.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, I wrote this down because I never heard this word before, and I had to look it up. It's I don't even know how to say it. It's like hagiography or something. But anyways, it's the writing of the lives of gods. And that's what they're saying it was. Is like basically Michael Jordan just glorifying himself as like this superior being, right? But on the other side of that, and it's kind of funky that... And
it's not hieroglyphs?
No. It's hagiography. Hagiography. I don't fucking know. But it was interesting when I read that because it was kind of the people saying...
Hierography?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I should have told Siri to say it for me. But yeah, you know what? I saw that kind of the way the documentary played out, but it's like Michael Jordan, and I mean, this is probably going to sound cliche, Jay, but just reminds me of Kobe Bryant too, because Kobe Bryant was considered like an asshole, right? He was hard on his teammates. He would talk shit and he would badmouth them if they weren't practicing right and stuff like that. And that's fucking leadership, baby. You got to be a fucking man like that. If you want to be the best motherfucker on the planet, I think that's the mentality you have to have. And we even talked about Mike Tyson having that same mentality too. And you kind of have to go in there like, hey, I am the man.
Fighters in general, Dana White talks about you're dealing with the craziest egos of all time. That's why they're great, because they're just obsessed. And they're all about them being the best. And when they become the best, guess what? You got a huge ego. And it's almost earned, I guess.
Yeah, right.
In a way, but it could get out of control like Tyson talks about. But yeah, like... Fuck, do you want to be on a fucking losing team, or do you want Michael Jordan motivating you even when it pisses you off? Because guess what? Getting pissed off, for me, helps motivation.
Right. Oh, me too. Unfortunately, though, it's, it's not the way everyone works. And, and I speak from personal experience, right? Because that's how I get motivated too. Like, I like being told that I can't do it, and then I want to do it because now, of course I'm going to do it. I have to prove you wrong, right? But like, so I go into that with my kids, and like my wife hates it, right? She's like, no, you don't fucking tell your kid that, It's like, I'll tell him shit like, oh yeah, you made one shot. Let's see you make 20 shots, like that kind of stuff. And it's like, in my opinion, it's like, well, I'm trying to motivate him, but I can see how that can kind of not motivate someone, right?
Yeah, it could go both ways, but man, I think if you do it smart, I don't know what the answer is to that, but like, Dennis Rodman went away, got drunk, came back, and he outconditioned everyone on the Indian runs.
That's right.
And Michael Jordan's not that way. Michael Jordan doesn't need to leave the mothership. Michael Jordan needs to be embedded in the mothership to fucking succeed. They're all different. That's what's amazing just to see. I told Gina she's in leadership with her work, and I'm like, man, you got to check this out just on the leadership from Phil Jackson to Michael Jordan to Rodman to Pippen. It's fucking to the rest of the team, to the fucking manager, like how it's interesting.
You know what? A big thing too that I got out of it was Michael Jordan came in, and this is what he says in the documentary. And again, this is, could be editing and stuff like this, but he says, I went in there as a rookie knowing I was a rookie. No one's going to listen to a rookie. Nobody gives a fuck about a rookie. I knew that I was going to have to show them that I'm a badass motherfucker by showing them, by playing, by balling out, right? And he did that. And then Scottie Pippen comes in, and you see that scene where like that guy slaps him in the face,
I hate it.
And he went in total opposite. He came in saying, oh, I'm going to be better than Jordan. I'm going to rock this joint, And he came in total opposite, and then their dynamics went in whole different directions. So you can kind of see how that played out, right? Jordan had a mentality like, oh, I'm gonna fucking show these guys. And
I think the difference there is Michael Jordan said it on the inside and Pippen said it out loud.
Right, totally. Yeah. But I agree with Jordan, man. You got to go in there and show them, you know, and you got to lead by example, not by talking shit.
Well, and we're all guilty of wanting to tell people how great we are, especially when you're going to become an adult. Everyone wants to, I always heard that as a kid, and I was like, yeah, fuck that. And then when you get older, like, yeah, everyone's like, my way's the best. Everyone wants to tell you to do it their way, even if you don't want to do it their way because of the results. But it's like, man, it's just... I don't know. I think I hated that video where he got slapped and kind of embarrassed.
Yeah.
I was like, that guy's being a cunt.
Yeah, totally.
But I was like, Pippen, throw a punch. You want some respect? Right? Throw a punch. You may get your ass kicked. You get some respect.
But I think he knew where he stood at that point. You know.
He got checked.
He got checked big time.
Yeah.
But
you think Michael Jordan would have took that though? Hell no.
Well, I don't think Michael Jordan would have said that.
I don't think Michael Jordan said that, but I don't think Michael Jordan would have. I don't know. This is probably a weird conversation. Who knows? What ifs? But I think Michael Jordan wouldn't have got slapped like that.
Yeah, true. Probably. Yeah. Well, he had more. What do you call that? Not charisma, but
determination.
Yeah, determination. Like he just carried himself better than Pippen did, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, we all like. I don't know. Yeah, just fucking show. If you Jordan shows people, how you can argue? You got fucking the opponents on the other team saying, "Yeah, he's the best in the NBA. He's the best." It's like. Fuck.
He knew he was a badass. And you know what? Let's go back to about 10 years ago or so. Because I was always a Jordan fan, and I wasn't into basketball, but of course I love Jordan and Allen Iverson especially, growing up, fucking badass basketball players. But just to watch them, not to be like a fan or anything like that. But growing up, going to college, and then kind of just reading stuff here and there, and Jordan's brand, selling shoes for a shitload of money and going to China to have his shoes built and, all this shit. Like, kind of lost a little respect for him over the years, It's like, you got all these millions of dollars. I don't ever read anything about him giving back to his community or building schools or anything like that. And then you hear LeBron doing exactly all that stuff, man. I mean, sending kids to college and building schools for kids in his hometown. And, I mean, it was just nothing like that with Jordan. I mean, maybe that just wasn't the trend back then. But then the documentary came out, and then I started reading all this stuff, and I said, well, he's a badass motherfucker, no doubt about that. But
do you like Jordan?
About business.
Why'd you start to like Jordan? Because he's a badass basketball player, or because a humanitarian?
Right.
That's a weird thing, because I get what you're saying, but it's also like, LeBron is very in the social media era where he's very vocal about it.
Right.
I don't know what Jordan does. He might not talk about it. And I respect those people more that do shit and fucking glorify it. But yeah, I think it is like we all expect everyone that has millions of dollars to give to someone. And they're like, bitch, I did it. You do it.
Right. Well, this is true. And it's not that I expected him to do anything, but I was just hoping he kind of would, over the years. And the fact that, again, this is like, anti-capitalist Nick speaking, right?
Here we go.
It's like going to China to build your shoes. Like he could have built them here and still made money.
He could have, and I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, it's a Nike thing too, right?
Right, right. Yeah, exactly.
Joe Rogan has a great bit about that years ago. He's like, yeah, I know little kids are making my shoes in China and it's horrible, but I need some shoes and don't know how to make them, and I can't afford it. That was probably before he had money. But what you're saying does remind me of Gary Vee. Gary Vee, the guy we kind of watch. We've been using him a little bit as motivation. At least I have. Okay. Showed him a couple of videos of you.
Right.
First, I was like this tech douchebag, and now I'm like all about him. But Gary Vee, he cusses, he does this, and he was and this is the world we live in. There's a lot of hey, there's a lot of Nick Millans. Hey, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing, And it's like, Gary Vee was on stage in probably San Francisco. I don't know. One of these places, where he's giving a speech and some guy or kid just yells out, build a school in Africa, and like interrupts him. And he's like, what the fuck do you say? And he's like, build a school in Africa. He's like, I built 6, motherfucker. Do your research. Anyways. And it's like, people just want to yell at these people, and you don't know what they do. I didn't know he built 6, but like he doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. And I think that's where I disagree probably with you a little bit on this. Is like, the Bible talks about the rich guy gives a little bit of his money to the church or charity or whatever, but then the old lady gave everything. The poor lady The old poor lady gave everything she had, and that's worth, even though it wasn't the amount he gave, was worth more. So you could give, everyone could give, I'm sure you do, but like, I think we got to stop pointing at these guys and be like, what are you doing? This mob mentality for me just, it's like, I get it. Like, fuck, if you could, why not? But if you don't, that's your prerogative.
Well, right. And it is. And I'm not saying, Michael Jordan deserves to go to hell or he's a terrible person or, because definitely influential person, probably motivated millions of fucking kids to become something great, right? And so I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to...
Employed a lot of people, a lot of families.
Right. And I'm not, trying to bring him down. All I'm saying is that personally, it's just like, well, yeah, okay, yeah, he's a cool dude, but,
lost respect.
I'm not that I lost respect for him. I still have respect for the guy, but... just not a fan, right? I'm just not going to be like, oh, great God, Michael Jordan,
there's that opposite spectrum.
Right. So it's just like, he's a dude, well, whatever. I mean, I don't fancy him as much as I used to, but whatever,
Yeah, haterade. I should have hit it and taped it on there. Imagine.
Fucking asshole, Jay.
I know, but yeah, I don't know. It's a good point that Gary Vee just popped out, and I was like, oh, because me, I'm just like a fucking specter, like, oh, he got called out. Oh,
right.
Oh fuck, drop the mic. What if he lied and just made that shit up?
But you know what? On that note, I would say that Jordan has donated a lot of money. I mean, I've read stuff like museums and stuff like that. He donates money to, and more like his organization donates money. But, and it's not that he doesn't.
I think we learned one thing right now. Michael Jordan, if you're watching, donate to Jay, not Nick. No, not conspiracy. I can't. Where's that? There we go, Michael. Donate to Jay Yoder Foundation. It all goes to my pockets. No, but Anyway, any more Michael Jordan stuff?
No, but I actually, going back to that rock climbing thing, I was going to say something that I didn't get to. I asked my wife's uncle, we were talking about those two guys on that documentary that were up there. And I asked him, well, would you ever do something like that? And he said, fuck no. Those guys have to take shits up there, right? Like they have to shit in a bag and then carry it with them everywhere they go.
They're throwing that shit down.
That's fucking
just smash it on the rock.
Yeah, nice. Wall art.
Leave your mark. But they ain't carrying that shit. They're throwing that shit down. Was it a puppy in a Suburbia where they pick up in the bag?
Oh, yeah, right. Dog food bag.
That's an interesting thing to see. Something I'm still not used to. Bags
no,
of
but
shit.
you know what? I mean, just... yeah, Jordan, I get what you're saying. It's like, man, if you get there by yourself, fucking do whatever you want with what you got, And I totally agree with that. I just fall on the side of, I don't know, man. Maybe I put people above me sometimes. That's just kind of who I am.
That's why I said that Bible verse. I think a lot of people like to point the finger without looking at their backyard, And
right.
I'm not saying you're a great guy, but I don't know what you donate. But it's easy to say millionaire donate, but anyone could fucking donate. You have $10,
right?
You could give 5 away if you want. That's your choice. And,
absolutely.
Joe Rogan, everyone knows he's moving to Texas.
I didn't know that. Well, I heard something, but so he's officially.
Well, yeah, he's been official for a while. He's been bouncing it around for a year and a half or something. But he's about a few months ago, 2 months ago, he's been official. And I think, this week he released that someone called him on the podcast out on it. And he said, yeah, I'm fucking moving. He says, look, LA's overcrowded. And with this COVID thing, it's definitely understood it's overcrowded. All the mayors suck in how they handle the homeless. And he goes, I can't blame them. It's too many people. I don't know if it's possible. But California's too many people. COVID is spreading. We just surpassed New York with COVID cases. Yeah. And he's like, but I want to move to Texas because people are nice there. West Coast, East Coast, easy to get to for his comedy. He's like, and you get a little more freedom down there, get a little more wiggle room with what you want to do with your life and space, So
right. He's probably gonna get a fucking super mansion down there.
Shit. Fuck, probably has one, but probably has multiple. But he, it's California's. It kind of goes back to this conversation, Jordan. This is why I am growing to hate California and why I grew to hate California and San Francisco. And it's just like this bitch fest, this fucking bitch fest. Like the world fucking sucks. And I get it. And you got to like protest. You got to like speak your mind. But once every single person is getting pointed at by this mob mentality on social media and getting people cancel culture and this. And I just posted something on our story this week about it's like 62% of Americans are scared to share the political views because they know they could get fired, because they know people will yell at them.
Right.
In both sides, liberals and Republicans. Republicans. It's insane. And people should be talking. This used to be a law.
Right.
And now it's like, you're fucking racist, you're fucking this, you're fucking scum of the earth, you're fucking rich guy not doing this. It's like, whoa, dude, like, what are you doing? Wait, you know, and you know, I know some rich people that have said this. I'm like, look at your fucking house and car, and you're yelling at this guy. Oh, why don't you sell your fucking house? Why don't you move a family into your house? No, you won't, right, bitch? You just want to bitch. You want to point the finger, but three are pointing back at you, and it's yeah, it's just it drives me nuts, and I don't know if that's why Joe Rogan's moving, but maybe it sounds like that might be part of it.
Well, you know what? And there's a lot of people that talk shit about California too, and I hear it all the time, you know. And it's usually my go-to is like, get the fuck out there. What are you still doing here? Like,
I'm thinking about it.
Especially business owners. Like, I talk to a lot of business owners, and like, oh yeah, you know, because I had employees and I did the unemployment thing and paid the taxes, and it's fucking gruesome, dude. It drains the shit out of you. And I had them for 3 years, finally did away with them. But a lot of business owners, they tell me that all the time. Fucking, we pay too much taxes here. I was like, what the fuck you still doing here then? You know?
Well, that's also like, you don't like America, go and leave. That's
right.
It's like easier said than done. Because,
of course.
I mean, you could do it, but when your whole family's around a certain area, your whole livelihood, your career, it's not that easy. Just pick up and leave. But if you really want to, you can. But you know, we moved to Sac because it was cheaper.
Right.
My girlfriend kind of convinced me to come here. I was like, I want to go to San Diego. Like, I want to be like around some like, you know, some tech dudes or some ambitious business guys that like, got some foundation going and more up to date with technology and stuff. But we moved here because it was cheap. But guess what? Not so cheap anymore. So I'm like, fuck. At least in San Francisco, we had a beach.
Yeah, right.
And the weather was nice. I'm like, fuck. And there was like great, I know COVID ruined it, but great out going out activities and something free concerts all the time and just tons of shit to do, different neighborhoods. But man, Sacramento's getting high because people like me have moved here.
Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot, Jay.
Yeah, you're welcome. I was told the same thing when I moved to San Francisco from wherever I moved at that time. But think it's like Idaho, Colorado, Montana, Texas. I'm sure Oregon surpassed Washington. They're like, fuck you guys, quit coming here. Quit coming here.
Right.
And I heard, my cousin lives in Texas. He said there was a sign, like a big sign that says, "This is not California."
Nice.
Rudy, a classmate of us, lives in Wyoming. In Colorado, he's lived there too. And he says, like, man, all the Californians move here because they hate their state. Then they vote and change the laws just like the state they left, which now we're worried they're going to ruin this shit, the gun laws and everything else.
Interesting.
They're like, fuck, you left it because it turned into a fucking homeless sanctuary, and now you're coming here and trying to do the same thing to feel good. It's like, so, you see it on TikTok all the time. Montana sucks. We actually had this conversation, remember, about Montana?
Wyoming.
We're talking about Montana, how beautiful it was, and the big blue sky.
I think it was Wyoming.
Nah, Montana.
Was it?
I don't know. We could go back
when I was talking shit about it.
Yeah, because I love Montana.
Yeah, I think it was Wyoming.
I wouldn't defend Wyoming. That's why I would know. I don't like Wyoming.
We're going to have to go back, Jay.
I'm not a big fan of Wyoming. But Wyoming's cool, I guess. But it is kind of crazy because it's like, I guess Colorado, they're trying to change the gun laws. All these Californians are moving over there over the last 10 years. And they're like, fuck, like, what other laws are going to change to be exactly like California, the state you left?
Seems vague. Seems vague. I mean, I had to do my research on it. But going back to that,
vague.
Going back to like the cancel culture though, like, and talking about millionaires and their responsibility or not responsibility or whatever, I think you had mentioned, and actually I talked to a couple other people who had mentioned, actually business owners that I know that were talking about, oh, damn it. What's our governor's name? Newsom. Buying that $5 million house, right? And it's like,
in El Dorado or
something. Yeah, El Dorado, and it's like, oh, how can you buy a $5 million house? Like, well, why not? You know, I mean,
hello, we're going to argue, Nick.
but isn't that the same thing as like, other millionaires? Like, he's a millionaire, right? I mean,
no, not the same thing. Sorry, I got to let you finish. I'm getting hyped.
But that's
coffee's kicking in. Haterade. I got my haterade.
But how does it not fit on that same spectrum of, he goes and buys a $5 million house and he gets bashed, but then, when, someone else does it and they get bashed, then it's bad.
Well, here's one huge difference. One works for the government. Others that you have talked to are business owners. Nancy Pelosi, how did she make her money? Gavin Newsom, how did he make his money? They serve us, and they're richer than us, living in neighborhoods we can't afford in.
Well, and I don't think that's a personal issue. I think that's a huge, what career politicians? That's a fucking issue, man.
It's weird.
Yeah, that's stupid.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's a fucking problem that needs to be addressed. But If you got the money, fucking spend it. I mean,
yeah, but if you got the money from taxpayers, then don't spend it, is what I'm saying.
well, I don't think it's taxpayer. Well, I mean, of course, he gets a paycheck from taxpayers, but
A bloated paycheck, and then he also gets on certain corporations because of his political pull. It's not only him; it's everybody on the political spectrum.
right. It is right on both sides,
Yeah.
and it's again, it's one of those things where fuck you have, and again, I think fuck he should be doing something with his money, for the people, right?
It's like Michael Jordan, Elon Musk, how they make their money. We could say how they made their money.
right.
Now, if you say you make your money from being a career politician that gets taxpayer money and decides where it goes, conflict of fucking interest.
Well, and you think about who else fucking consumed our tax money, right? The bailouts, the big banks, Chase fucking Morgan and all these. I mean, dude, those motherfuckers are just as guilty because they fucking took billions of fucking taxpayer dollars.
Well, that's the thing. They're connected. It goes, the
all
pyramid is
connected.
politicians, and above them is the corporations.
Right.
And they're on the boards,
Stock
and
market.
they're always on some board, which
Right.
used to be illegal and needs to be. I don't know how they get away with it, but man, I just don't see how. I don't know how many houses Gavin Newsom is. I would bet my life that's not his first house.
Oh, fuck no. Yeah, I would bet
Yeah.
not. No, absolutely. And across the board, I bet. And I think this is California. Imagine what a governor in like fucking Louisiana has, or fucking, or something, probably a mansion,
Maybe.
Who knows, 'cause
It's probably
so
only
fucking cheap over
a
there.
mansion that's $300,000. Yeah.
Right.
Fuck, that's why. Well, we're going back to like Joe Rogan into Texas. Is me and Gina? I was like, Gina, like I wanted to move here because it was cheap. We could start businesses. We
Right.
could maybe invest in some real estate over the next few years. And now it's going up. I've been thinking like, man, is California is going to become a millionaire state? And I've been thinking that like a year or two when San Francisco. I was like, I feels like they're trying to push everybody out. And then what's going to happen to middle America? It's going to get expensive too.
Oh, eventually, right. Well, and you've seen that happen in the Bay Area. And that's, I mean, dude, you see people, especially when the tech came in and the whole fucking social media crazy splurge. And it was interesting, man, because I was going to community college at the time, and I'm transferring, right? And it's right after all this shit. And
Did you go COS?
COS, right. And it was interesting to see, like, because I was studying homelessness, and you look back at, what causes homelessness and why do we have such a fucking dramatic increase in homeless people and people in poverty? And it's like, okay, we preach about making things here, keeping people employed here, but yet all these social media and big corporations are bringing people from all over the fucking place, India, Africa, other countries. Other states, right. And of course, these guys are making a shitload of money. So they come in, they get the fucking nice big houses that cost a lot of money. Then those people that acquired those houses before now can't afford them. So they get the medium grade houses. And then the people that were in the medium grade houses now can't afford those because those people came in. So now they're in the lower grade houses. And the people that are in the lower grade houses, guess what? They don't have a house to go to. Their next fucking drop is no house.
Yeah, and it also... being a guy that worked in a tech industry, not like a Facebook or Google.
You're a millionaire, Jay?
Yeah. A lot of, hopefully one day they'll stock, buy 2600 hertz. I don't think that's not public yet, but it is, everyone that worked at my company had roommates. I lived in a closet. And I know guys that worked for Facebook and Google doing the same shit. So it's even them, which is why I left. I'm like, what? You're making $150,000 and you got a roommate?
Oh,
And you're fucking, that's what I'm saying. It's insane. So the CEOs and they're buying the fucking houses. The workers are getting sold something and just going in there and thinking, if I make my way up the ladder, if I get 100,000, if I get 150, oh shit, San Francisco.
And I will step on that guy and step on that guy to get there.
And it's not always that, but it can be that way. It is cutthroat because you're getting the smartest motherfuckers in the nation and the world fucking competing, and it gets dicey.
Hey, that's tough. Yeah, you know what I just read?
Exciting,
and I didn't read this article. This is one of those headlines I read, but Macy's laid off like 100-some thousand employees, but their CEOs got like $9 million raises.
Well,
motherfuckers.
Over the history of time, that's why I try not to focus so much on the workers as a CEO. The workers and the CEO pay has just drastically, just like small class and large class.
Oh, and distribution of wealth is fucked up.
Yeah, and then the CEOs making these huge amount of money. You think they give a fuck if they get fired in a year? I'm sure they don't want to, but it's not the end of the world for them. They're not going to be on the street, but they every quarter need to do better than the last quarter. It doesn't matter what they have to do. They got to cut some employees. They got to cut some paychecks, whatever. Or some like Howard Schultz has done stuff great in the past with closing down stores and refocusing on keeping stores alive and then expanding again.
Okay.
But it's with Starbucks. yeah, it's insane how much they make, and then they have to answer to the shareholders.
Exactly.
And have to improve every quarter. That's impossible to improve every quarter forever.
Oh, right. And that's a huge problem of the way we run our system. I think the biggest problem, actually, that's the biggest problem. But if they do, then they get those bonuses, right? It's in the contract, right? If you grow quarter over quarter by year 2 or whatever, let's just say, then they get this fat check. And then when they do get this fat check, then people like me read it and be like, oh, God damn you.
What'd you donate to? Build a school in Africa.
Motherfuckers.
But it is interesting. And then when they get laid off, they get a huge paycheck too, as well, when they get laid off.
Right. And not to mention lifetime insurance, probably. I mean, I think...
lifetime insurance, what's that?
Dude, Sacramento Kings, their former owner, I think, or manager or something like that. Or no, something like that. Or maybe coach. I don't know. One of those fucking people. I mean, in their contract, it was lifetime fucking insurance.
Damn, I need that. I need some of that.
That's fucking crazy.
I got no insurance right now, and there's COVID going around.
So not even working, and it's like, fuck, you're still getting paid. That's fuck, man. Those are contracts to have right there.
Well, some of those paychecks, shit, you get fired, you're cool for the rest of your life.
Right, exactly.
Millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Dude, that's nuts.
Well, kind of just let's go down this river of conversation. Is Dr. Odin correct? You know, something I disagree with him on. Also, didn't really research, but just on a hunch, was right on the polls. Which I still feel weird about trusting polls. About the polls for Biden, Trump dropping, but also the Republican Party. He said they would split. You'd have the Trump Republicans and like the whatever Bush moderate Republicans, I guess. But Tucker Carlson and Hannity, you know who those guys are too?
Yeah, Fox
News guys,
right.
Had a little bit of a disagreement, a little bit of a spit spat. Was it Jeff Bezos was it him that made like 15 billion in one day?
Oh,
recently,
coronavirus?
Last week or something?
I'm not sure.
Something like that. Insane amount in one day while the country's like people like, I don't know how many people are unemployed, millions of people. And he, is it 1.4 million unemployed or?
It's up there.
More than that?
I don't know what recent numbers are.
But so, Tucker was, I forget their fucking names, Tucker was like saying, how can he fucking do that when the country's sinking? And Hannity's like, it's a free market. He provides services and makes money, And you could see him bash, and then later Hannity apologized on Twitter. But it was like, oh, maybe that's a split coming up. Maybe that's a split of the Republican Party like Dr. Odin talked about. I don't know. Because I've never seen that on Fox News.
Interesting.
And let's get into some fucking news. You know, the Hill with Rising, God bless them. God bless the Rising and the Hill with those two. I forget their names. The fucking woman and the guy. She's a Democrat. He's a Republican. They both worked in the White House in Washington.
Is that the one that Joe Rogan had on his show?
Had on them.
Okay.
I'm watching them multiple times a day.
Okay.
They have been talking about Epstein for months and months. Why no other news organization would put him out. They called him out. They called out other news organizations like, hey, why aren't you guys talking about this? We talked to these journalists. They just, they turn a blind eye to one of the biggest stories ever. Well, everyone knows Ghislaine Maxwell.
You said it right this time, Jay.
I actually spelt it wrong to say it right. You know, like the dictionary? Ghislaine, not
Gaylene.
Yeah, but they're unsealing. The court passed to unseal her documents. It's ordered by a judge to unseal the Epstein documents.
You posted something like that.
Yeah, and it has a bunch of names in it. But her lawyers have a week. They had a week. They probably have a few more days to when this comes out, a few more days to appeal it, which I guarantee they fucking do.
Of course.
And it's from Virginia Dufresne and her 2016 lawsuit. And it's just fucking crazy what's going on because they asked Donald Trump, the president of the United States, what does he think about Miss Maxwell? And he said,
her well.
I wish her fucking well. He didn't say fuck because he would never cuss. But I wish her well. And it's like, what? That doesn't tell you about everything that's going on in the power structure and that Bill Clinton and the Dems and Republicans are holding hands behind the scenes and make, even though I don't know if Trump is a real Republican, who knows what he is, but his own thing. But like, I've always said, man, don't get caught up in the sides because they're probably drinking champagne, laughing at our asses.
Oh yeah. Toasting to the poor folk.
But how can you say wish her well? Oh, I used to know her down in Florida. Wish her well. I'm not following it. You're not following it.
I guess they lived in Palm Beach as well.
Well, here's the thing. Trump's a master at like attacking Hillary Clinton,
right?
And her husband. And her husband is definitely connected to Epstein, like more than anyone. Maybe not Prince Andrew. He's defending her. You know he knows what's fucking going on. That is a bold-faced fucking lie.
Of course he does. But does that surprise you, Jay?
It doesn't, but it still shocks me. It shouldn't surprise me, but it still does. And this whole thing shouldn't surprise me. This COVID thing, this Epstein thing, I've been looking at conspiracies since I first got the internet. And they're all turning out to be goddamn true, and I'm shaking in my boots.
Dude, you know what, man? I read this article, and the headline, of course, that's, because that's what a good headline should do. It should fucking grab you enough to where you want to read the article. And those are usually the articles I read. And the article, dude, a judge that just took on a portion of the Epstein case, her son got murdered. Did you see that?
Yep.
And it turns out,
FedEx.
Yeah, right. And this is the story that they're using, that, he's a woman hater, and that, he had this long time grudge against her, and that's why he did it.
Who did?
The guy that murdered the son. He went to her house trying to murder her. And she was in the basement, and so I guess he shot the husband and shot the son. And and the son died. But yeah, it's like, when I read it, of course, I'm thinking, oh, this is tied to Epstein shit. This is the rich and powerful quieting some motherfuckers. But the article was basically gearing it towards, well, he had, he's anti-women rights, and he's always had this grudge against this judge and all this shit. And it's like, oh, come on, don't give me that shit.
Well, that right there is that what they call it, the distraction.
Right.
That's what I always say. Like, I honestly believe the BLM is a distraction. I think there's a lot of good in it, but they give you these little chips so you don't take the big cookie, because they don't want us looking up. I think I've said it on almost every podcast, but you got Geraldo Rivera. Remember him? I think he used to have like a Maury talk show or some shit back in the day. Well, he's a huge conservative now. He's been on Fox News for years now. He came out last week or 2 weeks ago and said, like tweeted or publicly said, I got to say her name right, Ghislaine Maxwell. It's ridiculous that they arrested her and didn't give her bail, because that was 25 years ago, and it's so long ago it shouldn't stand in court, and they should give her bail. What the fuck have you been doing? Right. What the fuck has Geraldo been fucking? Right? So Trump, Geraldo, they're trying to get on our good side, it sounds like.
Oh, fuck. Or someone's good side.
Yeah.
There's some powerful motherfuckers behind the curtains that we will never know about, Jay. And you know what? When I saw that she was even up for bail, I was like, what the fuck? How you gonna let this bitch bail out? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and what's weird is the sweetheart deal on the documentary. Remember the sweetheart deal with Epstein?
Yeah.
He said all my I don't know what you say, my posse, my entourage, they are extradited, or not extradited. They're basically, what do they call it when you're like, you can't be taken to court. That was part of the deal.
Oh, okay, yeah,
so his staff or whatever.
Yeah, I forgot what that's called.
And it was from like 2005, 2015, I forget, something like that. So they're having what they got her on are from the 90s, the late 90s, like 95, 98 or some shit like that. So they can't even get her for that shit because some weird deal happened with the fucking judge.
Like double jeopardy type shit.
Just no one knows what deal it is. It's still like nothing ever like this has happened in recent history or history. I don't know.
Right. You know what this reminds me of, Jay? And this is this not off topic. It kind of is the topic, but I don't know if we've ever mentioned this on the podcast, but a long time ago, this is 2014 maybe, you messaged me out of nowhere and were like, hey, I know you're a journalist, and I know you like doing this and doing that. Let's sneak into Bohemian Grove.
Lie. I said, I know you like weed. I like weed. Let's go stoned and go some conspiracies. Journalist. Not kidding. Just kidding. I don't know what I said.
But dude, and then so I didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. So then I look into Bohemian Grove, and of course I start seeing like, oh, these real powerful figures meet at this fucking secret place, and they do all kinds of crazy shit, and who knows, maybe some fucking sacrificial shit. And that really got me started. Not really started because I never really got fully into it, but it started getting my interest in like, man, these motherfuckers are powerful and they can have anything they want. So what makes them want this weird shit, like pedophilia type shit? And it's like, well, that's probably the only thing that they cannot have legally. So then they go for that, right? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what the case is, but these motherfuckers, man, they're powerful.
You know who put that on the public map?
You had told me. Yeah, what was his name?
Alex Jones.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right.
He snuck in. He actually did.
80s, right? 90s?
No, 90s. He did like a podcast with T.I. A year ago or something like that. And T.I. kind of slows him down really well. And but
T.I. the rapper?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little hard to listen to when you're into conspiracies. Like, T.I., shut the fuck up. Do your research before the fucking interview. We can't baby step this shit. We got to go to the hardcore shit. We don't want to. But anyways, he snuck in and he got video footage and was part of the sacrifice. Witnessed the sacrifice across the lake, which is a big owl god. Moark, they call him whatever, but it's like a pagan thing, and they burn a effigy. Effigy.
Mm-hmm.
But he was so far away you can't tell because across the lake is where the most of the public sit, and then they have hooded people doing the ceremony. And he witnessed it. He videotaped it. Fucking back in the day, he probably had a big old camera. I don't know how he did it, but he
VHS.
Fucking that's why you gotta like those motherfuckers. And I was like, well, fuck, I'm close in San Francisco. If we went, I'm sure they got a lot of this shit taken care of. I hear it's almost impossible to get in nowadays,
right, sure.
Especially after him. But there's old. You can look up old right now. Go on Google and look up Bohemian Grove, and you'll see some black and white photos. You'll see Alex Jones' video. You'll see Nixon. You'll see Reagan. You'll see them both, I believe, at the same table with a feast. You'll see some weird things going on and just weird occult shit. And that's why I always believe, like, I don't like to get caught up in the fucking right and left and these breadcrumbs of the news. If the fucking MSNBC or Fox is telling you about it, don't fucking watch it, because they're trying to ramp you up to fight with your neighbor. And that's been happening fucking every year since I've been born, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And it's hard to get on that level when you fucking see these pictures of Nixon and Reagan, and the person you're talking to doesn't fucking know about it, and you're like, you're sitting here yelling at me about this and this and this, and you don't fucking know about this shit that's been out since. That's how far your research goes, to MSNBC, to Fox News. That's your depth.
Preach.
It's very frustrating, and it's like, fuck. If the left and right hate each other, why the fuck are they sitting at the table?
Exactly.
I mean, there's video of fucking Hillary fucking promising the billionaires. Remember that came out? It just gets ignored because the news doesn't show it, but it's out there. Go find it.
Oh, it's fucking out there, man. And that,
Don't be lazy.
And that's we were talking about ignorance is bliss last time, and that's why I really never got into it, because especially after you sent me that, and reading into this shit, it's like, man, these motherfuckers, they're all in cahoots, man, and they're powerful, and they're fucking each other, and they're fucking us big time. Yeah. And you know what? This is research I've done before that is like Skull and Bones, right? And Illuminati and other just secret societies that fucking date back to fucking way the fuck back, dude. To Skull and Bones was, I think, the Templar Knights, right? I mean, all that shit, dude.
Is it?
No, the Skull and Bones is not Templar Knights, but it.
The Templar Knight, the White Templar Knights, they're, do you know the history of them?
Yeah, they were basically the guards of the Queen, right? Or she was like her first force of like enforcement.
Well, it started with like I think it started, oh man, I'm going to mix this so much angles, but it started with Constantine. It's been a few years, but Constantine, became Catholic and edited the Bible. I don't know that to be true, but made a lot of made Jesus white. I don't know, but and they probably had to do that to defeat the very powerful Muslims who controlled the Middle East at the time, which had all the religious spots and I think a lot of the secrets. Right. Goes back to,
I believe that as well,
the Jewish people and the Egyptians. It always goes back to them too, and probably pre-Egyptian stuff going on. But so they created the white. Just a rundown. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been years. But White Templar, basically, I believe they were started in France, I believe, and they got powerful. They fucking went there and fucked shit up. They were like, "Come on, Muslims." The Muslims were like the Tysons, you don't want to fuck with them. And these guys were badass, I believe mostly French, but Britain hired them. Different people would hire them to go to build castles on the fucking line where the Muslims were going to come attack, or whoever was going to come attack. They would put a castle on the front line and be like, let's do this shit, but we get this fucking land when we win. We're going to sacrifice our people. We fucking win. So then they started gathering all this money. They were out to find these artifacts. You could get conspiracy here.
Solomon's Temple.
Yeah, the Ark of the Covenants talk, the Fountain of Youth, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The spear that hit Jesus. There's all kinds of
We need Arthur Liu on the show.
Yeah, I would love to talk to Arthur. We'd probably go insane. But we got to do some drugs, Art. But anyways, long story short, they got too powerful. The king of France, I think, or the queen, whoever was at the time, was like, fuck, these guys are becoming their own country without a country. They're rich, they're powerful. So they basically, I think they killed a bunch of them. They fucking got rid of them. They made it illegal.
Then they went underground, right?
Yeah, they went underground, and then some say they exist today, but they're kind of out in the open as well. So like Freemasons, you build 33 degrees up, and then you could break off to the Goodfellas or White Templars. There's a bunch of them, but White Templar is still an option. Yeah. So you can become a White Templar today. It takes years.
Interesting, man. And you know what? Those are the groups that I'm talking about. They exist, man. They exist, and they've been around since the dawn of fucking time, and they are powerful, and we have no idea what goes on in these fucking meetings. I mean, I can't even imagine.
Well, there was a president who warned us about secret societies. You know who that is? JFK.
Okay.
Public, look it up. He warns of these secret societies that existed and that they're a danger. Now that if you agree with JFK, because George Washington, he was a public Mason. A lot of guys are public Masons, and probably helped beat the British. Paul Rivera, I think, was even, and probably not for them. I don't know. I said it could start in Britain too. So I don't know if they're the good guys or bad guys, and I can't make heads or tails of it, Nick. I told you I want to join just so I fucking know, but I'm scared off to suck a dick.
At least a couple times.
Yeah. Do I want the truth that bad?
Right. And you know what? You also, was it you that posted, or maybe I just saw Joe Rogan posted it, but they said something about the UFOs, spacecraft.
Sturgill Simpson.
Yeah, being developed on not on Earth or some shit like that.
The Pentagon's finally releasing that the government has spacecrafts not of this Earth. I guess New York Times or someone released it. I haven't dived in too much. I just read that article. It's Sturgill Simpson. He's a country singer, but he's a conspiracy guy too.
Oh, okay.
DMT and shit. But you could been on Joe Rogan multiple times. But we know where this is going with the Space Force. We know what's coming up. Aliens is next. Let's get excited.
Right? Dude, it totally is. You're fucking absolutely right, Jay.
I'm calling it. Ghislaine Maxwell will blame aliens. They made me do it.
And then they'll bring the alien on and confirm it.
Dude, what are we going to do when a little green guy comes out and talks?
Fucking ask him if he smokes weed.
Yeah, dude, I went on a crazy conspiracy. I haven't smoked weed or drank for about a week now. Ooh. And I haven't slept for 3 days because I started smoking weed because of my insomnia. But the good thing about insomnia is you do a lot of fucking research because no one's around to bug you. So everyone's asleep. But I went on a hardcore conspiracy binge on Buddhism and the even a little bit of Islam and the what do you call it? Magic, I guess, or what do they call it? The mysticism. And basically these accounts from way back when people first started going to the Himalayas from the West and talking about levitation and multiplying themselves and basically becoming Buddha, Nirvana, and like escaping this reality. And, and man, there's a lot of, it could be bullshit. This video, I didn't research the sources or anything, but it's fun stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
Even if it's fake, I love it.
You know what? This is, I kind of truly believe this. It's way out there. It's conspiracy, but I think I've read this a couple times, and I think I talked to Arthur about this too. And the reason why we wanted to go to Middle East was not oil, but because they have a wormhole there. They have a wormhole that you can get into other dimensions, and if you believe it, I believe in wormholes, like space travel and all this stuff, and they got to be somewhere. So maybe there's one there. I mean, and you've even seen it like on Ancient Aliens and shit like that. They have these like cutouts in the mountain where natives worship, and they've said like, hey, this is where the gods come in, and it's fucking interesting, man. Yeah,
it's 2020, and what you've seen this year alone, shit, it's only been what month is it? I don't fucking know. It's July. Since January to July, so much of people have been more willing to believe shit. And so I will believe anything. I will believe anything tomorrow. Anything could happen on my front lawn tomorrow, and I'll believe it. And fuck, if you do DMT, you're already going to believe everything. But there's a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of fucking bullshit out there. But I'm not saying anything's fake today because shit that I thought I was just into because it was fun, entertaining is now true, and it freaks me out.
And it's scary, man.
But hey, man, I got to go back to Ghislaine Maxwell. One point I want to put is the Rising, the Hill. Fucking watch that news source. That's the greatest news source out right now. They're probably gonna get whacked. I don't know. They're fucking amazing. They do it professional. They both worked in D.C. I think one or two, both of them worked in the White House. Mm-hmm. One's left, one's right. They keep it. They call out the right guy calls out Trump. The left girl calls out Clinton's and that's a sign of how you could trust them. But fuck, they released something recently about, by the way, that's how news should be. It's weird that we act like this unicorn is what news is supposed to be. But anyways, Andrew Schultz is a comedian. Do you know Andrew Schultz? He's blown up last couple of years. He's got all kinds of podcast shows and TV shows and shit.
Rings a bell, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Can't put a face to it.
Charlemagne from 104 Point Park or whatever, the radio station, the urban radio station out in New York, and urban, not black. But the presidents are going. Like, I think Hillary went on there.
Okay.
Biden might. I don't know. People have gone on there. But anyways, a huge station. DJ Envy and all that. But Andrew Schultz was like friends with Charlemagne, and he had his own career and got popular off YouTube just putting like 1 minute clips of his stand up and blew up. And he's huge now. He's huge. He gets millions of views. And so he has been makes fun of everybody, calls out Epstein, calls out Clinton, calls out everybody, right? He did a video recently about fucking Ghislaine Maxwell and the absurdity of it and and like how crazy it is. And Facebook pulled his 1 million views video because of bullying clause.
To Ghislaine? Wow.
Or Epstein or whoever.
Defamation or something?
Facebook won't release shit about it, but they just said they're pulling him because, and I guess the Hill contacted Andrew Schultz. He's like, they told me nothing, but I guess it's the bullying clause. That's the only thing I know.
Wow.
So he's bullying a sex offender.
So much for freedom of speech,
with
right?
a bunch of eyewitnesses, a bunch of guilty finger. I mean, she's red-handed.
Oh, dude.
Guilty.
Oh, fuck yeah, she is. So big time.
So like, you don't think you could trust Fox News, MSNBC. You can't trust fucking social media. And you could talk about politics. Social media is very left, and you could talk about politics, but it's like we said, it's at the top of the iceberg, at the top of the pyramid. There's fucking, the same group.
Oh, it is 0.01%.
Yeah.
Not even the 1%.
Don't you ever wonder why we don't have more political parties?
Dude, exactly. And if there is a third party, they fucking don't last very long, or they get shunned, or they just don't have the fucking funding, or this and this and that, but they just non-existent, basically.
Well, I bashed Trump, so let me bash the left a little bit. Kind of off that point is women's rights, man. BLM, inclusion, women's rights, women for president, identity politics, fuck that. White straight guy running rich white straight guy with probably rape a lot of people. Who knows? Sexual.
Where are you going with this, Jay?
Anyways, man, that caffeine kicked in. But I feel my heart going boom, boom, boom. I love this shit, man. Love this shit. So frustrating, but so awesome. But yeah, there's an independent running who's a female. And I don't know her name, but I know I've been told it many times. I can't remember, but I should know her name. There's a female running, and the left, the Dems, and the people that fall left aren't fucking voting for her. They're rather vote for the rich white guy. So doesn't that just show you that it's all bullshit that they preach this? We need a woman president. We need this or this, and then there's a woman running, and it's just like crickets.
Oh, dude, it's all bullshit.
There's a guy running too, I think.
And I don't know much about that at all, but it also reminds me of the video we just seen on Facebook where the police officer is saying like he's standing his ground at the protest, and there's people telling him like, oh, you have the fattest nose, and like just sending racial slurs to him at a protest that's supposed to be about injustices in the minority community. And it's like, yeah, dude, people are fucked up. They don't even know where the fuck they're at. They just enjoy spewing dumb shit.
Yeah, don't argue with your fucking neighbor. I get it. It gets frustrating sometimes. But like that cop was talking about how there's more minorities in the police force than the white kids on the other side of riding, and how a white kid always jumps in front of the black person. Don't talk to them. They're cops. And he's like, the fuck? Like, isn't that exactly what you're fighting against?
Right,
like,
exactly.
Insane.
And it takes me back to what you're saying is, they can say all they want, but then when they get fucking when they're talking about put in front of them, then they turn the other cheek, right? They don't even acknowledge this woman running as a third party independent. Again, fucking doesn't surprise me, man.
Sit back, create dots, look at all the sides, whatever information they give you, and connect the fucking dots, dude. We're fed bullshit, and we're fucking out there screaming at our fucking neighbor when your taxes are being taken out of your paycheck. I would love to show you a video, Nick. You want to watch a video?
Let's watch it.
Let's watch it. So here's a video from my favorite news source, my second favorite after The Hill, World Star Hip Hop. Don't watch it. It'll ruin your fucking life.
Jay sends me these all the time.
Come on, man. You got his first check. First check ever in life, boy. Gonna see what it do. And wait, gotta say
Is
how
this
much
his son?
I think so.
See his face when you open it up, man. Wait, Jojo.
First paycheck.
How does it feel opening up this first check, man?
Oh, come on, Pop. Let me just open it up.
All right, man. All right.
What is you need this?
You really don't.
That face changed quick.
Because he was expecting
Why your face like that, JoJo?
We all been there. Remember our first paycheck.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Taxes.
Would you expect it more?
'Cause you-
He's still looking at it. He don't know what the
would
fuck
you
to
expect
do.
it more?
How much you get? I have to say it out.
JoJo, where you going?
How much did y'all get? Oh yeah, they took out taxes, Joe. Welcome to the world.
He's gone.
What? Joe,
Yeah,
where you going, man?
it's a part of life.
Oh, you mad?
Sad reality.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, they
You
took
learn
out
about the dick in your ass.
Yes, sir.
You don't know how the taxes hit,
Cost a lot of
boy.
money.
And that's
JoJo,
a
where
big
you going?
schlong.
Cause they
Where he
where
at?
they go?
Look, where he
I'm gonna show
going?
them how to. I'm gonna show them.
Finesse me.
They
What
didn't
they
finesse
do?
you. They didn't finesse you.
No.
It's not a stipend. It's a check.
What you wait? What you talking
So I
about?
only got 258.
Bro, look.
Yeah, you gotta explain taxes.
Okay. So they took out employee Medicare and they took out your Social Security employment. So that's 406.
But I got
and
my
that's
social security number.
No, you always have to pay taxes. You have to pay taxes every time you
Yeah,
get
bro, you
paid.
just only off like
So-
$20.
so
Chill out. $21.
So
Literally.
look.
Listen, we gotta explain to you how this
Look,
works, man.
you earn $280, but they still had to take out $21.42 in taxes, which is why you have this much to
So
spend.
if I earned that, why can't I get it?
Because you have to take out federal taxes.
Dude,
You pay
Did he say
taxes
they
for
finessed
everything.
me? I don't know. They finessed me. I was like, yeah, they did.
story of our fucking lives, Jay. And you know what, dude? I think about this a lot, and it's like, you fucking all this bullshit about, oh, taxes are making our roads better, making our schools better, making our kids smarter. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
Infrastructure's bad right now.
Have you read about the bridge infrastructure failures in this fucking country, and the roads
I
are
haven't.
fucked up, and our kids are fucking uneducated? Oh my God, dude, our taxes are going into billionaires' fucking pockets, Jay. I honestly believe that.
Our kids are being taught by their parents right now.
Yeah,
Poor
pretty much.
bastards.
Right.
At least we got a shitty education. They're getting no education.
Right.
So.
Non-existent.
Yeah, man. It's do you remember that moment? I remember like, no, something's wrong.
dude.
Wait, what?
Fuck
Why am
yeah.
I paying social?
What is this?
Social
What is
Security?
this?
What? Wait, what?
Oh, my
I got
goodness,
health
dude.
insurance. No, you still got to buy health insurance. What the fuck is Medicaid? What the fuck? Yeah, it's
Right, dude. Oh, dude.
that's why I get mad at Gavin Newsom. I guess that's why because I paid $33,000 in 2019 in taxes.
damn.
People want to ask, hey, why aren't you donating to this program, man? I'm like, what about all those social programs is why my check goes up in the
Right,
city of San
exactly.
Francisco. Yeah, well, the homeless problem's still bad. No, check the pockets. Ask fucking Gavin Newsom where the money's at, bitch. Like, he's got a $5 million house. I don't.
Dude, we're getting fucking ripped. And we know it. And we know and that's all over the country. That's just not California. You know, less taxes, of course, in other places, but fuck, man. And then that's what pisses me off about these bailouts. You know, it's like, why the fuck are we bailing out these motherfuckers who can't even have savings enough to get them through some fucking crisis when, you know, let them fail. Let somebody else fucking go into business and create an establishment. Fuck those motherfuckers. Like, why are we, dude, I don't get it.
It's crazy times. And, you know, I went, recently I went out to San Jose to visit my cousin Tyler. And some cool stuff about him. He was in the military during the war, and he was, you know, it's his story to tell. But another thing but he was kind of talking about like in Iraq, you hear stories of going to the local gangs in Baghdad or whatever city, and like they would just drop off hundreds of thousands of dollars to these gangs. So they could be on their side for a little while, and then So it's like that's taxpayer money right there. So
right.
it's they're willing and dealing with everybody. But he on a positive note, he's part of this cool fucking thing. And I was gonna write the name down, I forgot. But it's a military organization out in Santa Cruz. There's a bunch of, I think they're all over the West Coast and I don't know, probably other places. But so all these military guys get together. Maybe they have PTSD. Maybe they don't have an arm. Maybe they don't have legs. Okay. And this like cool surfer dude. There's a documentary on Netflix. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. Resurfaced, I think. And he's just a cool surfer dude. You like will love him by the end of the documentary. I cried. Me and Gina watching, we cried like little bitches. But it's you got these guys that one guy couldn't hear, no legs, and they get him out on the surfboard. And they're surfing. A lot of these guys are suicidal and like talking about killing babies, and it fucking gets intense. And
right.
And they fucking, they're young kids. Now they're adults and broken adults with a okay VA system, I guess, if you call it that.
Yeah, if you want to go that far.
And the suicide rate's high with the military. I think it's 22 a day or some shit like that.
But I bet it's fucking high, man.
But these guys go out and they get excited. It's fucking hard. They get their ass kicked, which I think is great. It's dangerous, which,
they love that,
a lot
I'm
of military
sure.
guys talk about missing the war because they don't want to go work in a cubicle. They'd much rather go out in war and suffer. And yeah, it's just like, they ask about the waves tomorrow, which means they're not killing themselves tonight. Because they're thinking about the waves tomorrow.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Dude,
man.
watch it, Nick.
I love that shit, man.
It's a feel good fucking thing.
You know what? This buddy of mine who I went to school with, he's into archaeology. And he's former military too. He, went to the war and all this stuff. And there's a program called Dig Ventures, and it's for veteran archaeologists.
Tight.
Yeah, dude, it's badass, man. And they sent this guy to New York, and they had a big project over there in New York, and it was like a 3-week excavation, and it's all veterans, man, that they go to school to be archaeologists, and then they fucking doing it, man. It's like that's cool. Fucking awesome, man. I love to hear that shit.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. Yeah, check out Resurface on Netflix. But kind of going back to Portland is you got me onto these guys, Black Zebra Productions. Did you see what happened recently?
No, what happened?
I posted it on our story this week. He was out in Portland and got attacked by the federal agents.
Oh shit! Oh,
yeah.
did he? Oh
yeah.
Fuck!
He must have a girl that works with him or something.
Yeah, he does. I've seen
I don't know
her.
if it's his girlfriend or something, but like he was up close. I don't really, I haven't been paying too much attention to Portland because, to be honest, I've been balls deep in Portland since 2015, and it's crazier than it's ever been. But after a while, just the same shit over and over. But the protesters built some type of structure, and they have these like trap doors. They throw shit out. The police have. What the fuck? Or the police have that. I don't know. Or they overtook it. I can't tell. But I seen videos from the inside. It looks like protesters, but it might be changing hands. I don't know. But all these protesters are out there, and he was close, looking at the doors open, and then the girl on Black Zebra production crew was like in the street, a little far back, and the federal agent just come out of nowhere, fucking fly in, fucking whacking people, throwing people on the ground, getting them pinned on the ground.
On a vehicle?
Them. No, just running. They just like sprinted. They threw some tear gas too, and it was like, holy fuck, flashbangs.
Oh,
and
shit.
There's 2 camera angles. Check it out, Black Zebra Productions. And his girl's yelling, he's pressed. And I think he got hit or something.
Oh,
and
fuck.
Yeah, it got fucking intense. I was gonna hit y'all like, we need to go to fucking Portland tomorrow, but like, fuck, it got crazy.
Dude.
It got crazy.
You know what? And Black Zebra Production, yeah, shout out to them because they've been doing it, man. They're out there fucking shooting all kinds of shit. And actually, I've read some of their comments, and they're getting a lot of fucking hate comments too, man. People are blasting them.
Yeah, I don't know too much about them. Sometimes I see stuff and I kind of just
I don't know too much about them either.
But
just started following them this year.
Yeah, you got me on them, but this video is fucking intense.
Wow, man.
Yeah, and he tagged all these news stations, and he's out of Sac, right?
Yeah, he's out of Sac. Interesting, man.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, totally, man. And you know what? I was gonna say something about our fucking taxes, but I forgot. But yeah, dude, that's there was even in Sac. I remember hearing during the protest, and this is old news, of course, but it was like there's certain people, and if you wear a certain hat, it's like a green hat or something like that. That's telling police like, this is a member of the news, or this is a member of whatever the fuck it is, and you're not supposed to fuck with these people. And it's been known forever. And fuck, cops are like, oh, we don't give a fuck about that guy. I think one of them got shot with a rubber bullet in the face or something.
I know nothing about this, but how do they prevent non-press from wearing green hats?
Right. Yeah, this is true. This is so true.
That's why they don't give a fuck.
Right. You're right. Probably.
But yeah, press has been attacked on. When was it? Like a few months back, right? That's when this shit really started. Press was getting like arrested and shit, and that was like crazy.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not following Portland too much, and although I highly, not encouraged, but I'm all for protest, right? I'm all for speaking your voice and having your voice and being in a country that allows that to be able to be possible. But man, defamating your city, man, I don't know about that, and even during rioting, during the whole movement, I was not for it, but I kind of understood it, right? You got to do some things to get the globe to understand your situation and get other countries from around the world to buy into what you're selling and to be on your side. But damn, from those photos that I seen, especially from the Black Zebra production company, it's like, damn, dude, that shit looks like fucking like a war zone. It's fucking crazy.
Well, I don't know. It's look, there's people are going to argue. People are going to say stupid shit on both sides. People are going to say racist shit. People are going to say different types of racism shit. It's all this. It's just all like bad shit. And I get caught up in it. We all do. We're all guilty. It's hard not to. But you know, there's this I like to bring it back to jokes. There's this Tom Segura joke. Shout out to Tom Segura. You know who he is? As a Your Mama's House podcast.
I got to brush up on my comedians, Jay.
And podcasts, apparently. In the podcast world now, man. But Your Mama's podcast, or Your Mama's House, or something like that podcast. And him and his wife do it. But he had a joke on one of his stand-up specials years ago where he was like, I went to the movies. Like, it's not going to be funny, by the way, because I don't remember it. But he went to the movies basically in the middle of the day because he didn't want no one fucking there talking in the theater, obviously before COVID. And he got his popcorn, got his big drink. He's like a fat guy. He's all excited. And then he says these fucking like kids come in and sit. He's like in the center. They sit right behind him. They start fucking fighting and talking on the phone and fucking being annoying. We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, fuck this, man. I paid all this money. I planned this out for weeks to see this fucking, I don't know, probably Star Wars. I don't know. I don't know. But he's like, I fucking really want to see this movie. I planned it to get the cheapest ticket where no one would be here. And they're fucking sitting right behind me. So, you know what? I don't normally do this. I'm going to go complain.
Okay.
So he gets up. He goes out and he goes, I find this like manager kid. He's got pimple face 16-year-old. He's like, hey, excuse me. And the guy's like, yeah, what? And he's like sweeping or something. He's like, these kids, I started to be like a bug you. I'm sure you're busy, but these kids are behind me. I don't know how to handle it. And they're talking loud. And I bought all this food and overpriced food and shit and ticket. And I just want to enjoy the movie. Like maybe you could tell them to be quiet or something. I don't want to start a confrontation. And he said the pimple face kid manager of the movie theater looks at him and just goes, people suck sometimes, and then walked off. And he said it was the most life-altering experience he ever had. And I was like, yeah, people do suck sometimes. It makes it all better when you just go, people suck sometimes.
Right. Oh, dude, totally.
Bill Burr has the same thing where he says, fair enough when you disagree. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But isn't that the way it should be? Like,
it's hard.
It is hard, but you got to talk yourself into that mentality, I think, because you can't change it, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a religious person, and I used to be, and I used to have my Bible around me all the time, but it's, and it's just like, I don't know if there's really a difference between religion and spirituality. I don't know. But there's an old saying, and I think it's in the Bible, but I still have it to this day in my storage shed above the head thing. When you walk in and out, you see this. I see this every time. And it's like, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that's fucking huge for me, man, because it's like, if I can change it, I will try to change it. If I can't change it, I hope that I can realize that I can't and just walk away and, exactly that. Hey, the fucking people suck sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
That's done with. Right?
Well, it's obvious. You're very zen, I would say. You're very chill. I'm not. I'm like, my heart rate gets up as that Yoder fucking anger. But I'm not religious either. But the Bible, Jesus is one of my favorite historical figures. He's
Jesus!
Like fucking hippie, fucking Bruce Lee motherfuckers, just teaching the wrong crowd whatever he wants. I like it. But, dude, Mike Tyson's got a fight coming up.
Dude, I've seen that. That's, you know what, I almost didn't want to believe it, because I know he's a bad motherfucker still, but he just seems like such a good guy now, like such a nice guy. Like he just doesn't have that dog in him anymore, I don't think. What do you think so?
Well, everyone tells you you're too old and this, but I do believe we've seen that like Chuck Liddell fight.
Exactly right.
It's hard to watch, but
embarrassing.
At the same time, who the fuck am I to tell someone they can't do what they want for life?
Oh, absolutely.
And especially a guy who his training videos look amazing.
Oh, dude, he'll knock me out in one punch. I'm sure of it.
He might look
He'll
better.
Fucking kill me, dude.
Yeah, he might look better than when he fought Lennox Lewis. I don't know, but he 15 years ago he lost 6-round fight. He lost. I forget the guy, but it just shows a guy I don't know. But he's 54. He's fighting Roy Jones Jr. is 51. Roy Jones, I just found this out. I didn't know because I was like, wait, isn't Roy Jones lighter? Well, I guess Roy Jones has won a bunch of championships, one being the heavyweight. I didn't know that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I guess he went up to heavyweight. He was always bouncing around. But fucking very technical fighter, fucking badass. Have you ever dug into Roy Jones?
No. I remember seeing some fights and stuff, and I do remember him being a smaller guy too. But is he still in his groove? And
he's always stayed in shape. I think he's fought here and there. I don't know. I think he's always been doing stuff with boxing where Mike Tyson kind of got fat and got out of it. Now Mike Tyson's looking great.
Yeah, he is.
He's really into it. But yeah, they're going to have an exhibition in, I forget, some town in California, some town I didn't recognize. Carlson. I don't know.
Okay.
Carson. It's going to be exhibition. And I forget how many rounds. I don't know if they're released, but it's September 12th. And, yeah, it's gonna, I don't know if that means they're going to wear headgear. I don't know what's going on. But then Mike Tyson's also starting a league for older athletes
What?
that still have the fire, and not just fighters, basketball, all kinds of different sports.
Shit.
And he's going to start it like, if you still have that fire, and calls it like, it's some cool tagline like I don't know.
Bring your walkers.
Yeah, maybe. But it's like the second highlight of your life or something like that. It's pretty cool. And,
Dude,
and
that
I
is
like
cool.
it. But unless he dies, and I don't like it. Or Roy Jones dies, or it's boring. I don't know.
Well, so what's the purpose? Why are they fighting? Do you know?
I don't know. I think Tyson wants to fight. Obviously, he's been training with his man. Fuck. Anyways, the trainer out of King's MMA that was in Las Vegas for years. He was trained down in Brazil. Vanderlei Silva, Verdum, all those guys. He's been training him. He's going to be in his corner. Apparently, he's been training him on all those highlights you see. It's
right.
him.
Yeah.
It's a badass MMA trainer, but which I don't know. I was like, shouldn't you have a boxing trainer? But maybe that guy's boxing's up to date. I don't know. But I don't know. I guess he just wants a fight. He feels good, and he wants a competition. And, you know, when you have a competition, it brings the best out of you.
Well, and you know what? I think that's the best way to go about it, right? If he has that drive in him still, and he still wants to get out and throw some punches, that's cool. You know, just fucking go out and throw some blows, man. But if it was like, I don't know, for some reason I felt like the Chuck Liddell Tito Ortiz was like a money thing. You know, it's like maybe one of them or both of them are struggling. They need some extra cash. I don't know.
Well, maybe, I don't know about Roy Jones. I think Mike Tyson's got a lot of cash coming in nowadays. I think
Right.
hurting
He's
there
not
for a
hurting for
while.
money. I don't think he would be.
Yeah. Dana White came out because, you know, Mike Tyson's been pretty close with the UFC for years. They've always gave him respect. And
Okay.
he came out and said, you know, I told him not to do it. He told Chuck Liddell the same thing. He says, I'm trying to figure out a way to maybe give him something or do something for him where he won't do it, like maybe a job or something. I don't know, like a position in the UFC, which Mike Tyson ain't gonna take it. He don't need it.
Right.
You know, if he probably just wants to go watch the fights. He don't want a job, but I don't know. I was also thinking watching Jordan Mike Tyson like knows Tupac and all these guys from the 90s, the big era. I never heard about the two greatest guys of the 90s is Mike Tyson and Jordan. They must not like each other. Like,
Interesting.
I know Tyson partied and Jordan didn't, so I don't know.
Huh. Yeah, that's a good question.
I was like, man, I want to see Michael Jordan come on Hotboxing.
You know, we need Mike Tyson on the show so we can ask him.
Yeah, Mike, come on our show. Please. Please, man.
Come on, Mike.
We'll promote your fight to our
my
to your
goodness.
64. Actually, we're doing, our views have been getting up, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Hey,
motherfuckers.
Water Tower posse out there. Yeah, thanks, guys. Man, this
Feels good, man.
last week's episode, you know, did great.
It feels good. And you know what? I mean, Jay just talked about him going 100 miles an hour, and it's been like that since the very beginning. But you know what? We're growing, man. And we would always have this conversation about like, hey, we will grow, you know, and it's really about just fucking putting in the work, man, because this is work and we're doing it. And we see the, you know, the buildup of our followers, our subscribers, our likes, our views, and it feels fucking great.
Yeah, and it's you know, it is a lot of work. Probably more work than I thought.
Yeah,
me
for
being
sure.
like kind of a crazy workhorse, but like, and you leave your family, you have to come to my spot, you know, and it's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of learning about editing shit. And you guys been patient with us and still being patient with us with the Zoom calls, the horrible audio, the audio hopefully will still improve. I'm trying to get Tyler, sound engineer, out here to help us out. But, you know, there's investments, you know, a lot of stuff we still don't have. Different camera angles we did with Dr. Odin, we explored, but we want to do stuff like that here. And it's going to continue each week. We're just tweaking it each week, each month. And
not to mention shit's expensive.
Shit's expensive, man. We spent a lot of money on shit. And it's great that, you know, we said if 2 people watch, cool. And now we got an average of 80 to 100 people watching sometimes, you know, 60 to 80, 100. Yeah.
Shout out to you folks.
Thank you so much. And leave us some comments. What do you guys want to hear? What do you want to talk about? And thanks so much. And we know we're fucking off the wall with some of the shit we say. I'm probably wrong on a lot of it. We're always right. No, yeah. But we just fucking wing it. Just like I always thought of this as like if me and Nick had a beer in a garage, or I guess Arizona and water and Haterade. I don't know. But you know, like if we would just like you just bullshit with your friend, and it takes a while to get comfortable with the camera and the mics.
Totally.
Especially with guests, it gets a little nerve wracking.
Right.
But man, it feels great. I feel very comfortable. I feel like, especially when I quit my job, I don't give a fuck what I say. And we love that you guys watch. And yeah.
Shout out to you,
Thank you.
motherfuckers. And you know what? It was, I even felt this, and I kind of seen it looking back at old, like, it was kind of, you had to build yourself up to watch yourself and this like that. But even more recent episodes, like like I feel like we do need to get back into that conversation. I feel like we're doing that right now. I feel like this is a great conversation that we're having, and disagreements and this and just having a conversation over some drinks. I love that shit, man. And sometimes we get a little stiff, but all shit we're working on, and this fucking thing right there and that thing over there on Jay's head is working nonstop. We got plenty of ideas, some really cool stuff, hopefully in the works. With
Is
some
it bad that I thought you were going to say not working? I was like, hey, point at yourself, man. Don't drag me into this.
Well, and you know what? I mean, from former guests, and I don't know if you want to mention this or not, but we've been working on hopefully, getting a former guest of ours a mural in his hometown that would highlight his.
Maybe not say too much because, a lot of things got to work out. But if anyone knows, I'm sure you guys could connect the dots. But if anyone knows a business owner in Porterville, hopefully somewhere on was it Olive and what's the other main road? Some of the main roads there, or not. Just shout us out. They have an empty wall in their business, whether it's a mini mart, a bar, a grocery store business. I don't know.
And an artist.
Yeah, and some local artists. I think a Porterville artist would be great, but anyone from the Central Valley that's badass at murals. And we don't want no graffiti bullshit. We don't want your fucking X14 shit. Yeah, I mean,
stay down.
Shit, I'm getting shot now. Can't go to the valley anymore.
God damn it, Jay.
But if you're an whatever. But sock in mouth, foot in mouth. But if you're a badass artist, dude, we want to see what you got, and we want to try to get something going, and it's going to be a lot of work and a lot of money, and like me and Nick been doing we do a lot of this shit free. We haven't made 1 cent off this podcast.
0.
1 cent, but that's going to change. I know we've been saying for a while, but we're going to try to get some shirts going, some stickers, and we want to give the OGs, all you guys that watch, want to give some the OG something special. The first 100 people something over the second 100. Like a shirt they can't get,
something.
A shirt that's a one time, or something, or stickers. I don't know.
But you know what? Again, I mean, we're constantly thinking about ways to get content out there, and not only that, but also ways to highlight certain individuals that are doing things in their communities, and just. Fuck, man, all kinds of shit got going on. So, yeah, keep in touch and keep following, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, and send us your best dick jokes. I'm running out of dick jokes. It's been a few episodes, and I had a good
No
dick
pics. No pics. Jokes.
Yeah. Just send the pics to me. My personal Gmail. All right, guys. Well, anything else, Nick?
No, but, speaking of Gmail, I just want to shout out my high school email address was 12dildos@yahoo.com.
Is it really, Nick?
It was. I was a fucking
Why
terrible
12?
kid.
Why not 13 or 10?
I don't know, Jay. I don't know. Well, actually, 12 was my volleyball number. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
So what happened in those locker rooms, Nick?
Right?
Male volleyball players. All right, guys.
But that's it.
We love you. Please subscribe. Check us out, watertowerpodcast.com. And we love you guys. And stay tuned for next week. And we got some exciting things coming up. And we hope you enjoyed today's show.
Yeah, boy. Subscribe, bitches.